So the big question, when you're starting out on Amazon, do you need to go as a limited company or a sole trader? I've been selling for up to 4 years now. I've done over 1.2 million in sales. In this video, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of both and which one you should go for. Stay tuned. Make sure if you're starting out on Amazon, you're not sure, make sure you watch this video through till the end. Don't get distracted by cat videos. If you want to make progress, you've got to watch this stuff. So first of all, let's go over the first point. What's the negative? What's the cons of being a sole trader on Amazon? So one of the first cons is that Amazon don't take you as seriously. Let me tell you a little story. So when I first started out, I think I was doing Amazon for around about 6 months at the time, and someone that was alongside me in a mentorship program that I was in actually excelled quite quickly, and they realized that they were going to hit the VAT threshold, which is 85,000. Unfortunately, they were still registered as a sole trader at the time, but in order to go to a limited company, in order to go to VAT registration, which is what you need to do if you're doing 85,000 in 1 year, you have to be a limited company in most cases. Now, they tried to switch to a limited company, but unfortunately Amazon actually delayed that for 11 months. So they could not expand their business for 11 months. So I guess one of the first reasons that I decided to go from a limited company from the start was sort of a scarcity tactic. You know, I wasn't willing to let that risk happen to me. Now, this can be quite rare, but it's not the first time I've heard it either. So it can happen, guys. So be aware that if you register as a sole trader from the start, you could have issues with Amazon converting to a limited company. So the next biggest con of being a sole trader is that you don't actually have any protection. If you have a house, if you have a mortgage, if you have cars, for example, and if you get into financial difficulties with your company, you've actually got unlimited liability, whereas as a limited company, you've got limited liability. Therefore, if you had an issue financially in your business, it's not a case of just going bankrupt as a proper company and that not having any financial impact on you. They can't take your house, etc. As a sole trader, they can actually go after you personally as the sole proprietor of that business, of that sole trading business. So that's a real con for me. Another con is that if you want to grow it into a significant revenue income business, then you're going to be paying more tax. The tax is set up to be more beneficial for you if you are a limited company. Guys, by the way, at any time, if you decide you want to get a limited company, hit the link below. It's only £12 for Awesome to set up that limited company professionally for you using my link. Another con from being a sole proprietor, a sole trader, is that actually, if you want to sell your business, if you launch on Amazon and you realize you're having big success and you've built this brand and you think that it could be worth a lot of money, even if someone wanted to buy it off you, you can't sell it. You can't transfer a sole proprietor business on Amazon. It has to be a limited company in order for you to sell that and transfer that to someone else. Another con. So let's just quickly run over a few of the pros for being a sole trader. So it is actually easier. Number one is that it's actually easier to set it up. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot less paperwork to do, a lot less admin for you to do. You don't have to set up a company straight away, and it saves a bit of hassle. But there's quite a popular saying that I go by, and that's you can either have an easy life now and a hard life later, or a hard life now and an easy life later. Usually, in my experience, the things that are easier to do now are not necessarily the best thing to do in the future. So you've got to make sure you're making the decision that's right for the company, not just what's easy. Another benefit of being a sole trader is potentially the accounting fees are going to be less, and it could be possible for you to do the accounting yourself. But when you want to start taking this seriously, when you want to start growing a proper income and a business from this, then that's the time you need to make sure that you are limited. But if you're only going to be selling like literally hardly anything, if you're going to be selling like £1,000 a month, then maybe it is the right thing to stay as a sole trader. Another pro of a sole trader is actually that your information can be kept private. So when you're a limited company, your books are all over the internet, okay? Not all over. You're not going to log into Instagram and see them. But if someone searches for your company, they can see that you're a director connected to that company. They can see your business address and they can see your details. Now, don't worry. There's ways to hide your personal office address. You can register virtual offices and things like that. But your information is going to be on there. But if you're a sole trader, your information is not going to be public. As I say though, that's not something that should actually put you off, because you can get virtual addresses and your address can go there. So let's look at some of the major pros and advantages of actually having a limited company. So one of the main things is that you're just more credible. Like when you're trying to contact wholesalers, or even if you're doing private label, even if you're doing brand exclusivity and trying to get the rights to sell people's brands, whatever you're doing, no matter who you're working with, if they can see that you're connected to a company, and you can put that in your email header, you can put that in your documentation, you can put that I'm from X limited company, it's just more professional. Especially if you're trying to open accounts with brands or wholesalers, a lot of them are not going to actually allow you to open them unless you are a limited company at least. So it's quite important in that respect, guys. If you want to grow a proper company, you need a proper setup. You don't want to build something on rocky foundations. You don't want to build something on matchsticks. You want to build a proper company. You can exit that company. You can sell that company if it's limited. You can hand it over to new directors, but there's no way you can do that if it's a sole trader, guys. If you want to be part of the game, you have to have a limited company. Another pro is that if you want to add family members or employees as directors or secretaries to the business, then there is a way that you can do that. You can give people shares of the business. You can give people director and sole proprietor roles of the business, but there's no way you can do that with a sole trader business. A sole trader business is just you. It's not a proper setup. But if you want to start adding family members, if you say, hey, we got a bit of success here, you want to bring people in, you can do that. And you can do that in a way that is legally framed. And the major con here with a limited company, another one, is the fact that it is limited liability. I've got to go over this point in detail now. I know we mentioned it earlier in some of the cons of a sole trader, but a limited liability company is actually one of the most beautiful things about starting a company in the UK that people take advantage of. People do not understand how lucky they are. I know people in other countries that are not as grateful as ours, people that are not as grateful in this country when they should be, because I know people in other countries such as Greece, countries such as the Philippines, where there's no such thing as a limited company. There's no such thing as limited liability. If you want to take on a business and it goes wrong, that's on you, and you're paying that debt off personally, and that's going to affect your house. You're going to start getting letters saying that your house could get taken, In the UK, limited liability is one of the most beautiful setups you could possibly ever have. It's taking risks in business that have limited risks. It's one of the major wins of having a limited company in the UK. So another pro as to why you need a limited company if you're going to take Amazon seriously is that you're going to be paying less tax. You're going to be setting your company up. Any expenses that you have are going to go through that limited company. You can start plotting and planning properly, accounting software, systems in place, your accountants in place. You can start paying yourself a salary from that business and make it as tax efficient as possible. It's not the most tax efficient way to be self-employed and just be paying yourself all that money, guys, and trying to live off that. To be the most tax efficient, you should be running through a company professionally, a limited company, paying yourself a salary, paying yourself dividends, and paying a smaller percentage on them dividends than most people pay when they're getting a job salary, for example. Someone that earns 100 grand as a doctor, other than someone that pays himself a salary and pays himself the rest in dividends, the person that pays himself the dividends that owns the limited company is going to be way better off paying a lot less tax than the person that is a doctor and is employed. Now, yes, obviously you've also got the corporation tax, but if you set up a limited company properly, you can put a lot of tax deductible stuff through that business and get that tax as down as possible, guys. At the end of the day, having a limited company is just a proper setup, okay? Now, look, is there a few cons to it? Sure, there's a few cons. There's a bit more paperwork. There's some accounting costs that come with it that you're going to have anyway with a sole trader, but there's going to be some accounting costs that come with it. There's maintenance with it and things like that. But generally, guys, the pros completely outweigh the cons there. Set up a limited company if you want to take this stuff seriously. It costs 12 quid with the link below to get it done professionally by Awesome with my link. Just sort it out. Make sure you're not building things on matchstick foundations, and just go and spend your time focusing on sourcing, focusing on building products, focusing on launching brands and making good money, having a proper setup. I'll see you in the next video.